Welcome to Horning State Farm. My name is Andrew Zahn and I'm the operations supervisor here at the farm. Horning State Farm is a 240-acre farm that was donated by the Horning sisters, Tisha and Eliza, back in 1950. It was donated for forestry purposes. In 1959, the UNL Horticulture and Forestry Department was assigned management responsibilities for the property. And in 1960, a cooperative tree research project was formed between UNL and the USDA Forest Service to develop trees that had good characteristics for Nebraska and the Great Plains. In addition to the research plantations, there are 40 acres of native natural woodland, 46 acres of grassland, and 7 miles of hiking trails. Now, if you're ready, let's begin the tour by visiting the hybrid hazelnut orchard. Here we have 14 acres planted hybrid hazelnut in trial test plots. We're testing these hybrid hazelnuts for resistance to eastern filbert blight as well as cold weather hardiness. We're looking for the best of the best plants that meet those criteria, and with the ultimate goal of one day releasing those top performing plants to the public for producers and backyard farmers alike. Here we are in our alley cropping demo, and alley cropping is a term that refers to the cultivation of food, forage, or specialty products in between rows of trees. And here we have our rows of trees here consist of Chinese chestnut, northern pecan here, or black walnut. And the crop we have growing in between the rows of trees is just a mix of grasses, mainly brome, which is cut and baled as hay every year. So why go with alley cropping? Well, when valuable timber or nut producing trees are incorporated into plantings, these can also be harvested, furthering the returns of investing in trees. And really, this site demonstrates that trees and agriculture can work extremely well together, adding cash value to property while also providing habitat for wildlife. So out here at Horning Farm, we have multiple invasive species. Just to name a few: honeysuckle, autumn olive, tree of heaven, garlic mustard, and musk thistle. And what we've come to find is managing invasive species such as honeysuckle and garlic mustard in forest stands can be a monumental task. A multi-staged approach to managing the invasive species found here has been developed and is currently in progress. So, to take for example, honeysuckle, first it will be shredded and cleared away with the forestry head attachment on a skid steer. And essentially it just reduces the honeysuckle plant into toothpicks and leaves a stump flush with the forest floor. This is usually carried out in the winter or in the summer months, and then in the spring or the fall, when the stump sends up sprouts, resprouts of the honeysuckle, a foliar herbicide application will be applied to the plant. Effectively, in the spring or fall, it will carry those nutrients into the rest of the plant, killing it off. We plan to implement periodic prescribed burning just to decrease dependence on herbicide and machinery. Generally, when an area is cleared away of older growth honeysuckle, what we tend to see is a germination of seed that was left in the soil beneath it, and prescribed fire has been shown in other areas to kill little seedlings. And here we are at the edible windbreak, and this windbreak demonstrates the restoration of a 1950s shelter belt that was comprised of black walnut, eastern red cedar, and honey locust. The black walnut has since been retained, and the cedar and locust have been removed. And in the place of the cedar and locust, it now features several species of fruit and nut-bearing shrubs and trees, including elderberry, chokecherry, currant, hazelnut, and apricot. When the restoration is complete, it will produce specialty forest products as well as provide wind protection. Why do we go towards edible windbreaks? Why are windbreaks a good thing in general? Well, edible windbreaks are attractive habitat for many wildlife species, including popular game species such as white-tailed deer and wild turkey. In general, windbreaks are an underutilized option in the Great Plains. When properly designed, they can couple conservation with additional income sources for landowners while simultaneously protecting crops and/or livestock from harsh winds. Here we are at our Oak Savanna recreation area. This site was originally brome pasture, and oak seedlings were planted in 2014 and 2015. The species included bur oak, swamp white oak, chinkapin oak, blackjack, and post oak. An oak savanna is a lightly forested grassland where oaks are the dominant tree species. Savannas are typically best maintained by fire. The savannas that do remain are fairly small, and this rarity has caused them to be categorized as globally imperiled. Many organizations, including Nebraska Forest Service, are prioritizing restoring and recreating these ecosystems. In this site, fire is not currently being used due to the relative youth of these oak trees, but instead annual mowing is being utilized in the meantime to maintain the openness. Here we are at Horning State Farm's Arboretum. This Arboretum was developed to demonstrate forestry applications that serve the growing urban populations of eastern Nebraska. Each tree planted here is recorded and monitored for growth characteristics, health, and adaptability to conditions in this part of Nebraska. Trees seen here are being tested for both home and community plantings. Many serve as demonstrations for proper tree care and pruning techniques. New varieties are continually being added to test their suitability to the changing climatic conditions. Here, there are over 40 different species of trees and shrubs present across 9 acres. Recent additions include pawpaw, black oak, and the prairie gold variety of quaking aspen.